Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Monday, September 19th. We have all you need to know about a restaurant closure downtown, as well as details on a Penn State graduates campaign for Senate.
We also have more on a new business coming to State College, along with entertainment, sports, and weather. Stay tuned.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Max Kuegler.
And I'm Hannah Markovich.
A Penn State graduate will be up for election in the Pennsylvania Senate this November. Nick Miller is a 2017 alumnus from the Smeal College of Business. He will be contending Republican candidate Dean Browning for a seat representing Pennsylvania's 14th district. The district includes Allentown and the Lehigh Valley region. Miller, a moderate, advocates for equitable public school funding and a focus on supporting small business. He believes that getting young voters to the polls is the most important thing we can do, as he says this generation will be the one to bridge the gap of the current political divide.
After 14 years of business, a hoagie shop in downtown State College has officially announced its closure. A Facebook post made by owner Ben Lippincott announced that Bradley's Cheesesteaks and Hoagies closed its location on South Pew Street. However, the restaurant will continue to serve customers at its second location along Atherton Street. They also plan to continue serving food at Medler Field for the State College Spikes games. Lippincott said that the COVID-19 pandemic was a factor in the decision to shut down. There were plans for the restaurant to relocate to a larger storefront and to open a third Bradley's Cheesecakes and Hoagies in the region by the spring. Within the announcement, Lippincott thanked all the people who took part in the downtown location.
The Patton Township Planning Commission unanimously voted to approve the development of a new Asian market near the Trader Joe's Plaza on North Atherton Street. J&C Market will offer specialty Asian cuisine and retail goods. The proposed market will spread out over 6,000 square feet, and plans are in place to alter traffic flow to this location as the board voiced its concerns over the potential traffic implications. The plans will move to the Board of Supervisors for the final approval this coming Wednesday, September 21st.
Penn State President Neely Bendapudi addressed two staffing decisions that have stirred questions among the university community at a recent town hall meeting. Bendapudi publicly defends her moves to add another vice president position and to raise another executive's pay during a, quote, strategic hiring freeze. A Penn State Board of Trustees subcommittee approved Bendapudi's request to grant a $71,000 pay raise to Sarah Thorndike, the treasurer and senior vice president for finance and business. The university also announced the hiring of Matt Melvin as vice president for the newly established enrollment management office. Bendapudi reasoned the moves were made to promote equality and tackle a pressing concern. After highs in the 80s this weekend, we will start to see some fall weather soon. Dana Osgood with Campus Weather Service has more details in this week's weather report. We'll be right back.
From the students of Penn State Meteorology, here is your Penn State Campus Weather Service forecast.
Good evening, I'm student meteorologist Dana Osgood here with your PSN News forecast. So taking a look over Beaver Stadium, we have some puffy cumulus clouds that came out after the rain that we had earlier this afternoon. Our current temperature is 72, which rebounded nicely from when we were a little bit cooler earlier on when it was raining, though our dew point is 66, so it doesn't feel super comfortable outside, and the wind has begun to pick up as well, 13 miles an hour out of the south-southwest direction. For temperatures around our area in the upper 60s to lower 70s, but those dew points in the upper 60s as well doesn't really make it feel very comfortable outside, though luckily the forecast for tomorrow is much, much nicer in that sense. It is a little bit warmer down in southeastern PA where they remain dry for much of the day, but we do have some rain showers going through the Scranton and Allentown area, which is bringing their temperatures down. That's what we have here on the radar imagery. So this is the line of showers that went through State College earlier today. and now it's moving into the eastern portion of the state, giving them some rain showers and even some thunderstorms in some areas. Though we will have some more rain over the next couple of days, but at least for Tuesday, looking like a really great forecast day. We could have some fog in the morning, so be mindful of that, especially if you're doing any early morning driving. But once that burns off, it's looking like a beautiful day for most of the state. Could have a couple showers in the Scranton area, but otherwise, most of the state will see plenty of sunshine and temperatures much above average for this time of year, so it'll feel a little bit more like summer than this late into September. However, as we build into the day on Wednesday, we will be seeing some changes. So we have a system that is beginning to form, and it's pretty well established at this point, and it'll be bringing us some rain Wednesday night and into early morning on Thursday. You can see here it's a pretty well-defined cold front that's going to be bringing us all this rain, and there's almost a secondary boundary that forms behind it that gives us another round of rain into Thursday evening. Then we clear out, for the most part, could have some lingering showers early in the morning on Friday and some lingering cloud cover in the morning, but otherwise we'll be seeing a much nicer day leading into a much nicer weekend as well. So how much rain could we see from this system? Most of the rain will be in the Erie and Franklin area. However, most of the state will be seeing rain in some form, so you definitely want to keep your umbrella and rain boots handy for Wednesday night and Thursday morning. But before we can get to that, we have to get through tonight. So for tonight, a low of 57 with a couple isolated showers, though most of the state will be remaining dry. And that paves the way for a great day on Tuesday, where we'll have plenty of sunshine and a high of 77, which is about 5 to 6 degrees above average for this time of year. So enjoy the nice weather while you can, because on the 7-day forecast, we see that it isn't going to be nice for the rest of the week. So once that rain comes in and the cold front comes through on Thursday, it's going to drop our temperatures to actually below average for this time of year, dropping into the middle 60s. Though as we go into the weekend, temperatures begin to rise and the sunshine returns. From the Penn State Campus Weather Service, I'm Dana Osgood. Have a great day.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Ben Russell with your sports update. Penn State men's soccer defeated Wisconsin 1-0 on Friday in its Big Ten home opener. The match was important on and off the field for the blue and white, as Friday was the 10th annual Mac Brady match. Brady was an avid Nittany Lions soccer fan who passed away suddenly in 2012 at the age of 8 due to a blood infection. The Mac Brady match is now played each fall with a free clinic taking place in January. Next up for the Nittany Lions is Maryland, who they take on this Tuesday at 7 p.m. in College Park. The game will be streamed live on the Big Ten Network. The Nittany Lions took care of business down south on Saturday, thrashing the Auburn Tigers 41-12 in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Quarterback Sean Clifford threw for 178 yards, while freshman running backs Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen each had 2 touchdowns. Singleton eclipsed 100 yards and was named the Big Ten Freshman of the Week for the second consecutive week. With the win, the Blue and White moved up to number 14 in the AP poll, up from number 22 the previous week. Next up for the Nittany Lions is Central Michigan, who they take on this Saturday at noon at Beaver Stadium. The game will be streaming live on the Big Ten Network. In local NFL news, the Pittsburgh Steelers were unable to get a win in their home opener on Sunday as they lost to the New England Patriots by a final score of 17-14. Pittsburgh's offense was unable to get any momentum going throughout the course of the game. They suffered a huge blow with a muffed punt late in the third quarter, which the Patriots capitalized on with a touchdown. Next up for the Steelers are the Browns, who they take on this Thursday at 8:15 p.m. in Cleveland. The Philadelphia Eagles are set for a primetime matchup against the Minnesota Vikings this Monday at 8:15 at Lincoln Financial Field. That's all for your sports update. After the break, Camila Vega has the latest updates from the entertainment world. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Camila Vega with your entertainment update. If you thought you missed it, well, you're in luck because Family Clothesline will have a restock of its Penn State and Lululemon merchandise. The full collection will launch in person on September 23rd at 8 a.m., but you can start to line up at 6 a.m. Some styles will be available online on September 25th at 6 p.m. This is Lululemon's third drop, so waiting times may be long. Make sure to be there on time to snag some cool game day looks. Penn State's Hispanic Heritage Month took off on September 15th and will be running up until October 15th. It is a month of celebration and pride filled with tons of activities for people within and outside the Latino community. Events include musical performances from Miguel Zenon's jazz concert and the Cuman Balpaso Dance Company. And of course, we're all looking forward to the Happy Valley Latino Festival on October 8th. To stay up to date with all of Hispanic Heritage Month events, make sure to follow them on Instagram at HHM_PSU. New York Fashion Week wrapped up last week with 6 days of stunning shows from top designers. Tom Ford, Carolina Herrera, Tory Burch, and Coach were among some of the major brands to showcase their spring 2023 collections. But we're not the only ones keeping an eye out for styles. Celebrities love to go to New York Fashion Week searching for their next award show looks. A-list celebrities like Conan Gray, Serena Williams, Lil Nas X, Doja Cat, and Julia Fox definitely gave us a lot to talk about with their show's looks. As you prepare your fall wardrobe, keep an eye out for what might work for spring 2023. That's all for your entertainment update. After the break, interview anchor Adam Tinkelman will be speaking to Alexander Hansen, the president of the Lion 90.7. Stay tuned.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm Adam Tinkelman, and tonight I have the pleasure of having Alexander Hansen with me, the president of the Lion 90.7. Alex, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, I appreciate it.
So the school year is just started, and this is the time for kids to start joining clubs and getting involved on campus. So as the president of a club yourself, can you give us some reasons why it's important to get involved early?
Oh, I mean, first of all, finding interests that match what you want to do. I mean, I'm not saying that, for example, if you're in the College of Liberal Arts and you're a political science major, that you have to go for, a specific politics-based club. But if you're able to match your interests as best as possible, so say I in high school had a podcast and I wanted to continue it in college, so I signed up for student radio and I hosted my own show. I think that's one of the easiest ways to continue doing things you love and develop that, and not to mention connections. I mean, I've made some great friends with artists and just hosts and other officers at the station too. So it's multifaceted.
Now, I find that interesting. You mentioned at the beginning just finding things that you're interested in. Would you recommend that, despite what your major is, you go and find things that may be unrelated, something, if you're a business major, would you consider fencing, something like that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my master's is in international affairs, and I am signed up for the Chocolate Milk Club here still. So I don't think it matters whatsoever. As long as you enjoy it, why not?
And what should students look for when they're discovering these clubs? Do you have any tips when they're searching for organizations to join?
I mean, the involvement fair would be my suggestion just because there's so many in one spot. But otherwise, like I said, as long as you can find an interest that you want to hone in on or develop, or, say brewing club, for example. If you're just interested in, brewing beverages and things such as that, just find something that you love and go for it.
That's exactly, I think that's exactly right. I mean, that's definitely what I did. Going to the Lion 90.7, that's actually where I think we met for the first time. Mm-hmm. And, in that same vein, do you have any advice on how to start discovering these clubs? Where would you go if you wanted to find the list of clubs or just things that you might enjoy?
Well, off the top of my head, Willard Building, for example, they have bulletin boards and people will frequently just put up flyers there. But otherwise, there's Org Central. They have that new involvement app. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But there's a lot of different ways that you can find out. The station, for example, we have our officer lists just taped straight to the door so that way you can contact any one of us if you're interested. So it depends on the club, but in general, I'd say Org Central is always the safest bet. Mm-hmm. And then, word of mouth. If I have a friend that's in a club and they want me to join, that's the easiest way.
And so, as we mentioned before, you are the president of the Lion 90.7. How long have you been in that position?
So this is my third year in that position. I was an officer. I was the vice president of programming for 1 year, where I was in charge of the music decisions, and then I was just a regular member my freshman year.
Okay. And how long has this position, how has this position impacted your time at Penn State? That's certainly a very unique position to hold.
It is. It's lesser known just because, as interesting as it might sound, people tend to just, when we're in the hub, they look at Jamba Juice and then they'll look at the Thon store and they tend to skip us over. But, it's opened the door to so many. I've been privileged to meet bands and artists such as the comedian Michael Che, Shinedown, the Chainsmokers, Jason Aldean, 5 Seconds of Summer. I've had the privilege of working with Damon Sims and Barry Bram and a lot of people in student affairs. So just the connections that you can make off of that alone that I've been privileged enough to make, it's made it so worth it. And it's just been a really great time, not to mention the friends that I've made along the way too.
Yeah, absolutely. And why don't you tell us what you do at Lion 90.7? You have your own show, correct?
Yes, so my show is the Whiplash program. I tend to switch violently between a bunch of different genres of music. It's from 5 to 8 p.m. on Saturday evenings. I'm usually there for 5 to 7, and I'll pre-program music for the last hour so I can drive home and listen to my playlist. But, I mean, yeah, it's just so much fun. It really is. I enjoy every second of it, and president-wise, any duties with that, I mean, that's just mainly administrative work and working with officers and WPSU and student affairs when need be.
And that's, you're broadcasting to a very large number of people. I mean, that's your voice, your music going out there. That's got to make you at least a little bit vulnerable, right?
A little bit. I think one of the most difficult things for me, though, is I don't always have that person to look at. I don't have, like, a camera to look at, for example. I don't always have that reliable place to set my eyes. So sometimes my gaze just kind of, I'll wander around the hub, for example, and I'll just look around and I'll sometimes comment. Like one of the very first weeks of this semester, there was a kid in a gigantic inflatable gorilla suit, and it was like 6 feet tall, and I looked at him walk in, and his head was just barely clearing the ceiling of the hub, and I had someone call in and say that they were on their way to the hub to check it out. So, I mean, we broadcast to approximately like 125,000 people in the area. So it's really cool to know that people are listening to my voice, they call in and tell me what they like and don't like. So just the input from the community is an amazing thing.
So would you say it feels powerful for you? Because, I mean, you just mentioned yourself, that's a huge number of people that you're reaching at one time. I mean, would you say that offers you a lot of opportunity there?
I definitely think so. And especially with former members of the station that have gone on to other things like Sirius XM, MLB Network. I mean, that we've had success with that too. So we know that people are listening all over the country and the world.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you have been president for 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. How would you say that leadership position there has impacted you personally?
Oh, it's developed me as a leader. It's helped hone my communication skills. And when I was a member of Blue Band, I mean, time management is key. There is no way that with the amount of courses that I've had in my time here and the involvements that I have, whether it be Blue Band, the station, and a couple other clubs I'm involved in, I mean, time management is number one. That is king. There's no way I could get through a day without having a calendar.
And so time management, I mean, I feel like that's a huge thing for any student. Would you say being part of a club at all has helped with that?
Oh, 100%. Especially, again, just balancing a calendar, knowing when I have to do schoolwork versus I can go to a club event and I can have downtime and relax and enjoy myself.
And would you encourage students that are, first entering clubs, would you encourage them to seek these leadership positions, to put themselves out there and really try to get to where you've gotten?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anywhere at Penn State, you can get involved. There's so many clubs here. Like I said, there's even a chocolate milk club. You have so many options, and when you get into those leadership positions, you're going to meet so many great people, whether that be administrators or other students and your peers. It's so worth it. Not to mention it's a resume booster.
Yes, absolutely. And you mentioned I think the Chocolate Milk Club.
Yeah.
That's one I've never heard of, but I think that is just a testament to how incredibly expansive Penn State's opportunities are for clubs and organizations. Would you say that that list, that diversity, really makes it easier for students to find the things that they specifically enjoy?
Absolutely, without a doubt in my mind. And not to mention, I mean, there's other opportunities too, going back to your question about getting involved in leadership positions. I mean, there's things like the Student Leadership Roundtable, where if you find a club you're passionate about, like I have, if you are in it long enough, you're able to go and get involved at higher levels and make more impact. So, absolutely.
So, Alex, we're going to have to start wrapping it up here, but I do want to ask one final question. For any students who may be a little hesitant to join clubs, maybe they're just not sure where they stand yet, what advice would you give them so they can finally go out there, really reach out and get involved?
Oh, just do it. Without a doubt in my mind, just do it. Much like Nike says. I mean, just to put yourself out there is worth it, and you'll make some of your best friends in your life. I have with former officers that I've worked with. I have with so many different people in any club I've been a part of, so. I highly recommend.
Yeah, I agree. It's very powerful to really put yourself out there.
Absolutely.
Also, we're not endorsed by Nike. Want to put
well, very true.
For the audience out there, I want to make that clear.
Very true.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for your time tonight. We're really happy that you came in.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was amazing to have you with us. Next up, Max and Hannah will bring us the latest news from across the nation. We will be right back.
The first U.S. death from monkeypox has been recorded in California. A statement from the Los Angeles Health Department confirmed that the patient was severely immunocompromised and had been hospitalized. At least 4,300 cases have been reported in California as of last week. However, deaths are rare, with more than 99% of people infected with the strain in the U.S. surviving. The disease commonly resolves within 4 weeks, characterized by skin rashes and flu-like fatigue.
2 more Texas Department of Safety officers are to be investigated over their responses to the Robb Elementary massacre in Uvalde. 7 total officers are currently under formal investigation. 2 of the officers have been suspended with pay pending from the outcome of the investigation, while the other 5 remain on duty. It is unknown at this time what actions by these officers prompted their referrals. According to a report by a Texas House of Representatives committee, a total of 91 officers from the department responded to the Uvalde shooting on May 24th. The agency has been under intense scrutiny to reveal details of its officers' actions on the scene, promoting amid anger by the community. In an interview with CNN, the agency's director, Colonel Stephen McCraw, vowed to fire any member of his department who did not do their job.
Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones is once again on trial for his commentary on the Sandy Hook shooting. Just a month ago, Jones was ordered by a Texas jury to pay nearly $50 million to the parents of one of the victims after he claimed the Connecticut tragedy to be, quote, a hoax. Jones and his company, Free Speech Systems, are liable under Connecticut law for the dissemination of false information. The families involved are engaging in this suit as a way to prevent Jones from preying on other victims of the tragedy.
Hundreds of lawmakers and guests joined President Joe Biden on the White House South Lawn to celebrate the Inflation Reduction Act. The package addresses health care, climate, and taxing issues. President Biden signed the act last month after almost a year of on and off negotiations among Democrats in Congress. The historic bill aims to lower health care costs, address climate change, cut the national deficit, and raise taxes on big corporations. President Biden highlighted the ways in which the law is expected to lower the cost of prescription drugs like insulin. Biden also touted the record-high $360 billion investment in climate and energy initiatives. The president didn't ignore the lack of Republican support for the legislation, which he said would deliver relief to families struggling with rising costs from inflation. That concludes our show tonight at PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.